Welcome on in. This is Dreamcast Guy. I am Implay the Jolly, your friendly neighborhood snowman with the spirit of Christmas trapped inside of him. Nintendo tells fans not to buy the Switch 2. Also more canceled pre-orders. Does Nintendo hate us? I heard the first sentence. He said Nintendo hates. Well, of course Nintendo hates us. They're a greedy company. Why wouldn't they hate us? We don't just give them our money and consume the product. Hopefully, it won't be too bad. I mean, we all know what's going on with the Switch 2. It's a price gouge like I have not seen in a very long time.
Not to buy the Nintendo Switch 2. They said, oh, you don't like our $80 games?
No.
Oh, you don't like our
By the way, their $80 games are like 7-year-old games. Like Breath of the Wild. Why is that $80? And from what I understand, it's a Switch 1 case rebranded to Red. And then they just put a code inside for you to download. It's not even a physical copy. Why are you selling Breath of the Wild for $80?
$600 handheld? Well, you can still just play on your little peasant Nintendo Switch 1, you brokey.
Which I will be.
And instantly, the internet is roasting them because this is exactly what happened with the launch of the Xbox One. In case you weren't around for it, we're going to show you because everybody's instantly posting it. When the Xbox One was about to come out,
service.
A lot of people were like, okay,
Always
I don't want to
online.
buy a console that's so expensive with a camera aimed at my junk. And they said, oh, you don't like the Xbox One? Well, good news. You can go buy an Xbox 360, you brokey.
Which is way better. I love the 360.
It caused pretty much the entire...
It was a lot more user-friendly. I like the layout a lot better anyway. I like the system. I was already used to it. I never had an Xbox One. I went from 360 to PS4, and that was used with a giant Naruto sticker on it from some guy I worked with at the time, because he wanted the Call of Duty Special Edition one. So he sold me his for like 150, 200. I can't remember.
Your Xbox One launch to collapse. That's not a joke. The president of Xbox even had to resign and stuff. But let's talk about Nintendo statement and take a look at it because people are instantly flaming the hell out of them. Also, they just canceled pre-orders in Canada. Let's get into it. Hi, hope you're having a great day. And if you could, please,
I have not heard that.
A like and subscribe.
What is that?
If you haven't already. So, this is Don Matrick. I can't believe that we're really going back to literally one of the biggest blunders ever, but here it is. Nintendo says it understands that some consumers aren't able to afford the Nintendo Switch 2, but good news, you can still buy the Nintendo Switch 1. And, yeah, I like all the PTSD. I love the war.
Think the price is going to go up on the Switch, on the original Switch? You think they're going to compensate for those lost sales by jacking the price up?
Or footage. Oh,
I wonder if the Switch 1 versions of the games are also going to be $80.
Oh my god, instantly somebody made the Nintendo Switch 2 Don Matrick. Oh no, it's over. Oh my god, this is so bad. I want to actually take a look at the comments here. This is from Nintendo Everything. Oh my god, they called us brokies. They're definitely trying to prolong the lifespan of the Nintendo Switch, because especially if Nintendo continues to cater to indie developers. You'd think they'd learn. I'm staying with the Switch 1 for the time being. After my experience with the PS5 sticker shock, I've got no rush for the Switch 2. This reminds me of that exec that said you can just buy the Xbox 360.
Which was a solid console.
Love the fact that everybody is freaking out because, honestly, I do believe that this is coming from a place of ego. I do truly...
I do not blame you. Neither will I. I only bought the Switch because of Breath of the Wild and the new Pokemon games. But honestly, the Pokemon games have been going downhill so hard. Like, the quality is just... It's incredibly embarrassing. They could do so much better on the Switch. They just choose not to. And I don't want to keep supporting them, especially if I have to buy a $450 console. I'm not doing it anymore. If the next Pokemon game after AZ is Switch 2 exclusive, not playing it, and I'm done with Pokemon because it's not worth it. They don't make the games worth it anymore.
Believe the fact that it's not that
sure
Nintendo
as hell not
is
paying $89 for
it. It is legitimately that Nintendo believes we've got the most diehard fans that buy the most games. Last night they announced that they've now crossed 850 million games sold or something insane. They're literally now the highest selling brand of all time. I mean, half that's probably Pokemon, but a lot of it's Mario and Zelda.
Yeah, that's heavily from Pokemon. Pokemon massively outsells most of everything else that sells, except for, I think, Minecraft.
They did the math and said, even if everybody doesn't buy it, they, by their own admission, they have 13 point.
When I say that, I mean video game wise. Obviously, Pokemon has them far and away in merch.
$5 million in the bank, or sorry, not million, billion. Nintendo is currently sitting on $13.5 billion of saved up profit, and I think they're basically on.
My mom always said, life
What a
is
fun
like
transition
box
for
of
him.
chocolates.
Okay, even if some people don't buy the Switch 2, those pay pigs will love it. Those little hogs will slop it up. Oh, you love your little $80 games, piggy. The fact that they're charging
No, I don't.
$10
I
for
don't
the
pay them now for the
tutorial
consoles or
of
PC.
the Nintendo Switch, this clearly shows that
My policy is if I really, really, really want to play it, I will buy it the day one. Usually that's Pokemon, Borderlands, Final Fantasy, because even the worst Borderlands, aside from New Tales, which I don't count, I've had a lot of fun with the Borderlands games, even if they suck. Like Borderlands 3, the writing, absolute dog crap. But the gameplay was so good. The story dragged on. And I wish they'd add DLC Vault Hunters instead of a fourth skill tree I did not need. But the point is, I know which franchises I'm going to pay upfront for. It's very, very few, and everything else, I wait for sales or buy used on eBay. Highly recommend buying used on eBay.
the fact that they're literally at a point where they do not care. And I think it's interesting to see this amount of hubris, this amount of ego, because
Well, that's what happens when you let someone in charge of your company who's named after the villain of your Mario games.
Nintendo has been classically, especially for the last 20 years, they have been the trendsetter in a lot of ways. I think having Reggie Fils-Aimé as the president of Nintendo, having a
Reggie's our
personable
boy.
person, like having a guy who is the face of Nintendo. That way a guy can come out on stage and be like, I'm excited for the 3DS. Here's why you should be excited. Hey, here's the Nintendo
We love
Switch.
Reggie.
Here's the
Everyone
Wii.
loves
Here's
Reggie.
why we're excited for you to buy it. That worked so well. And now we're at a point where they just feel like every other faceless, soulless giant conglomerate. You will buy the product. You will defend the product. I am shocked. I'm glad that people are instantly giving this the blowback. This is a horrible take from Bowser, basically saying if you can't afford this, just buy our outdated tech from 2017.
Everyone who would have bought Switch 2 already has a
Speaking as someone
Switch.
who pre-ordered the thing as soon as it was available, I live in Sweden. I think the price is justified based on the specs. This is a low blow by Bowser. You're known for being the budget option, so no wonder people are mad at the price. This is a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant take. You are literally the company that has historically, in their own books, I have the book by Satoru Iwata, the previous president of Nintendo, specifically talking about, yeah, our tech is underpowered, so it's cheap, so you can buy 3 consoles and give them to each of your kids and do ad hoc local play of Mario Kart or Among Us or whatever. You guys have historically
that's why the
been
simple
the
fun games pop
cheap
off on
family
there.
brand, and now you're trying to outprice PlayStation, outprice Xbox, and if anybody questions it, you're gonna poo-poo them? Psycho behavior.
You guys going to pay the same price, if not maybe more, for a Nintendo Switch 2 game when you can play it on a console or PC for roughly the same price with much, much better graphics. And they're more capable of handling it without exploding the Switch. Like, I don't know how they're going to do Cyberpunk without it looking like garbage on the Switch 2.
But here's the other part of it that's absolutely crazy. Nintendo just 30 minutes ago said, oh, we were actually about to start doing pre-orders in Canada tomorrow. We've canceled it. They're literally just saying, okay, any place that might even be touched by tariffs, we're also going to jack up the price. They haven't said the official price yet. I think it's pretty obvious that the price of the Nintendo Switch after tariffs, it's probably going to be over $500. I think it's going to be $550 or $600 for the Switch 2.
Most of the countries have that actually I don't know how that works considering. Okay, well, most of the countries that our president of America has decided to weaponize tariffs against have already said they're willing to negotiate and lower, if not go entirely drop their tariffs. That shouldn't be a problem. But I don't know why a Japanese company would be worried about tariffs to Canada.
I'm hoping I'm wrong. God, I hope I'm wrong. This one-word reaction is perfect. Yikes.
Has to be all
I've
caps
seen
or
a ton
doesn't
of
count.
people posting lately that the current head of Nintendo of America, Doug Bowser, the guy who keeps posting these incredibly stupid
Okay, we all knew he worked at EA. Everyone was very upset about him getting hired for Nintendo.
things like, oh, we love our $80 games, and you better love them too.
No.
This guy used to work for EA. He used to be a
I don't
very
pay
high executive.
$80
He was
for
the
a video
vice
game. I'm
president
sorry.
of the Electronic Arts. They put that guy in charge of Nintendo
I wait a couple months and then pay 20 for it on eBay.
of America.
Ma'am, you're not talking. Ma'am, your words are not coming out.
I think we are truly at a point where Nintendo has
Yeah,
very
Haru,
much
I
got
agree
lost
with you.
in the sauce. Now, my major
don't blame
question,
you.
and I hope we get an answer to this soon, is will the blowback work? I do truly believe in my heart of hearts that the launch is going to be catastrophic.
Yeah, it worked when they launched the Nintendo 3DS with all the issues it had, which was very similar to what they're having now, and they caved. They buckled. It did not go well.
We're talking low.
Let's not forget, if you want to use the Discord function they're implementing and the chat, you have to pay for a $50 camera in addition to the console and the $80 game. And then you also have to pay for Nintendo Online. Otherwise, you have this little C button down here on your controller. That's just a dead button on your controller you can't use at launch.
As heck numbers. Low pre-order, low day one sales, low attach rate. People are straight up going to say, okay, I'm not going to buy a Nintendo Switch 2 that's mostly just paid upgrades to Nintendo Switch 1 games. I've already seen a bunch of people saying, yeah, man, Metroid Prime 4 looked great. I'm excited for Metroid Prime 4. I've been waiting for Metroid Prime 4 for decades at this point, but I'm going to play it on Nintendo Switch 1. I'm not paying $600 for a system that,
Yeah,
yes,
seriously.
admittedly does make it look better, but this cannot be a one-system game. The first 6 months of the original Nintendo Switch was very rough. People have forgotten this now, but it was very, very rough because the pickings were slim. A lot of developers did not jump on board. It didn't really have a very big launch window. It's pretty much just a Zelda machine until we got Mario Odyssey, which ended up blowing everybody's minds. I am afraid about the fact that because this has such
I did not play Breath of the Wild on Switch originally. I played it on the Wii U. My friend had a Wii U, and it launched on Wii U. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but Breath of the Wild was on Wii U. That's where I originally played it and fell in love with it. And that was a major selling point for me getting a Switch. The new Pokemon games, which I believe was Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu, which I was excited for, but also because I had already fallen in love with Breath of the Wild, and I was excited to play it on the Switch.
a tiny launch lineup. It doesn't even have Metroid Prime coming at launch. I do actually believe that this thing is going to flop, and my hope is that Nintendo listens to it and says, okay, we were wrong. Okay, we are going to drop the price. Okay, games are going back to $60. But at this point, with Doug Bowser having a say, I think the prices are staying the same. They'd rather have big old pay piggies and no brokies allowed. Sorry, the Nintendo hobby is just not for you.
The Disney experience, the Disney method of getting you to Disney World is we're going to outprice all the poor people. We don't want you here taking up room so the rich people can't walk around.
I got another video made already. It's actually edited, and I have it done. It's ready to go up. I'm going to post that later today. I did a whole video about why I feel like $80 games specifically, it's going to break the industry. If people follow the Nintendo trend, I think this is going to be very, very bad. But how do you
going
feel
to be
about the
bad,
price of the Nintendo Switch, and are you still excited for it? Because even if you're buying it, I feel like
I was never excited for it. I watched the Nintendo 2 Direct, and everything about it made me, I don't want to say angry, I want to say aggravated, because then Randy Pitchford showed up, and I for sure got angry. Freaking Randy Pitchford. There was only one good announcement, and I'm pretty sure that they're making that exclusive to Switch 2, and I'm not going to get to play it.
at the very least, this has tainted the hype exponentially. But thank you for watching this video. If you could, please give this video a like and
Already did,
subscribe
buddy.
if you haven't already. And please keep dreaming. My God, Nintendo, you do not want to become Xbox, buddy. People get mad that I've made 800 videos called Xbox is dead, but at this point, I don't even make those videos anymore because, well,
Xbox
they're
is
dead.
dead. Yeah.
And, you don't want to copy off Xbox's homework.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Xbox made a sound business decision to not sell consoles anymore and to strictly go like live service gaming with the Game Pass and trying to share their stuff with PlayStation. I mean, console exclusivity is freaking stupid. And you really only needed Xbox to compete with PlayStation to bring the prices down and keep them in check. But Xbox and PlayStation coming together so that you can play all the games on one console is good for the consumer because the consumer will eventually set the price if there's just the PlayStation. But there's also the PC. So the PC will be competing with PlayStation, which is why I'm here streaming now because I got sick of console and I'm here on PC and I'm loving it. All right, this is Dreamcast Guy. Give him a like and sub. Leave a comment down below if you're buying the Switch. And what was it that sold Switch 2? And what was it that sold you ultimately on getting the Switch 2? If you're not buying it, what drew you away? The only thing I liked during the Switch 2 Direct was Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness coming to the Nintendo Store. Finally, some GameCube love, and those specifically are the two I've been wanting them to put on there. But I'm almost entirely sure I'd have to go back and look again, and I was still not sure the second time I looked, but they're going to be Switch 2 exclusive on the store. So I'm not happy about that. If anything, that was more insulting than everything else that happened. All right, I'll catch you guys later. I'm getting all wound up. Stay safe, stay hydrated, take care of yourself, take care of someone else, and love and nachos to all of you. Bye, YouTube.